Okay, now let's look at SG stocks. Okay, so as per my previous month, I always focus on investment theme, THEME. So what are investment story? What are some interesting investment theme to look at? So usually for one semester, I also want to do one stock screener exercise. So that means really based on numbers and see what are the stocks that can be quite interesting. So I just want to demonstrate how I do a stock screener exercise to actually pick up some interesting stocks. So not too bad. This time around, I actually pick up quite a few interesting counters. So just for your information, these are my screening criteria using the SGX stock screener, PE less than 20, dividend yield more than 4%. So basically for SG stocks, now it's actually all dividend. If I were to buy SG stocks, it's actually more for dividend purpose. If I actually want to buy growth stocks, I'll just go to US. Okay, because the capital gain down there is more pronounced. Not that Singapore stocks don't give you capital gain. But US stocks, they are better able to give you better capital gain. Okay, so for me to buy SG stocks, the motivation is they actually give dividend. So that's why for me, I have a dividend yield criteria more than 4%. Net profit margin more than 5, quite standard. ROE more than 15%. So by the way, just in case you forget how to do, I just do a very quick demonstration. SGX stock screener, SGX securities stock screener. Okay, here under the filter, filter down here. Okay, PE less than 20. Then you more than 4%. Then net profit margin more than 5%. Okay, ROE more than 15%. So these are the 4 criteria. Okay, so unfortunately, they don't allow us to put a lot more criteria. The US one actually allows us to put a lot more. So these are the few criteria. So I have about 28 of them. 28 of them. And what I do is I sort by market cap. Okay. Okay, I think ROE 15. I think this one, so about 25 of them or 25 of them. Okay. So what I did next year is this. So in fact, it was 26. Somehow in the afternoon, I actually did was 26. So 26. So again, I did something very tedious. I actually, all these 26, I one by one go and see which one has revenue and profit growth over the past 3 years. Actually, I realized I'm actually very good at doing the very tedious, repetitive work. If anybody want to employ someone to do very repetitive, very tedious work, can look for me. I'm very good at that. So I just went through 26 times. 26 which are the companies out of these 26 companies. So by the way, if you want to know which are the 26 here these 26 companies. So all these 26 company, which one actually over the past 3 years, the revenue increase, the profit go up? Like for example, if like a Hourglass, this is what I did. Financial statements, income statement. Okay, revenue go up. Well, I can see revenue for Hourglass go up for the past 3 years. Over the past 3 years actually went up. Then after that, net income also went up. Okay, so that's how I actually scope up this counter. I don't have a minimum market cap. I don't have a minimum market cap, but the stocks here I sort by market cap. I didn't put a minimum market cap. Okay, thanks for the question. So after that exercise, out of the 26, I only 9 this 9 counter pass the tests. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, this 9 counter pass the test. Then of course I have to do the 6 tests. I have to do the 6 tests. Now, all these companies pass the 6 tests except for one of them. Can anyone sharp enough to see now which company did not pass the 6 tests? Okay, so basically I've done the 6 tests. Okay, so number 1 from 29, how to 36, how to squeeze to this 9. I look at the company that the revenue and profit go over the past 3 years. Great, Chua. Thank you so much. Jumbo. Okay, Jumbo didn't pass, but I still put in here is because for obvious reasons, Jumbo is badly affected during the COVID period. Okay. So past 5 years means 2019 to 2023. So during COVID period, they are obviously affected. Cannot go to restaurant and eat. So I excuse it because I do know the special circumstances why it actually didn't pass. So that's why I still put Jumbo here. Okay. So if not, you can see all pass. All of them actually pass the 6 tests. For banks, the 6 tests is actually not relevant. So down here, a few things that caught my attention. Okay, there are some companies, the profit margin very high. So TalkMed, the profit margin is 35%. So quite shock. That's why, for those who have kids, it's actually still good to encourage them to be doctors. So the doctors are still making very good margin. Surprisingly, Vicom also have very good margin, 25%. Now we talk about Vicom later, but it's actually quite interesting. Vicom margin is actually quite good. Okay. Eyesight also quite interesting. So Eyesight basically is an eye specialist, an eye doctor. Okay. So the margin is actually also quite good. So these are the 3 companies, TalkMed, Vicom. Their margin actually caught my attention, actually quite good margin. Okay. So of course, the next thing I do is I have to go and look at the business case. So don't forget to do business analysis. Don't just blindly look at numbers. You must like the business. And in the business, I look for growth story. So again, what I did was this. I go and read all the chairman statement of these 9 companies. I go and read the chairman of 9 companies. And these are the growth story that I was able to sort of filter out. Okay, so for DBS, this is what happened. DBS, as you can see, is they are not doing anything new. They are just continuing their growth strategy. Okay, not that they don't have a growth strategy, they do, but they're just continue what they have done, but doing it better, doing it more. Like for example, they have been doing acquisition around Asia. Okay, and of course they're going to continue that. They are actually going to go into more of the IT stuff, AI, digital transformation, and they're actually going to do more of the sustainability. Okay, so is there a growth story? Yes. So they actually have engines for growth, but it's not a new growth area. It's something that they have been doing. It's just that they are going to do it better, do more. So this is for DBS. Then next is Jardine CNC. So basically they are predominantly into motor sales, automotive. Okay, as you can see here, they are mainly into automotive. Okay, distribution of vehicles. Okay, like the one that the most obvious one in Singapore, Cycle and Courage in Singapore. So they actually, do they still carry Mercedes? I think they do. Mercedes and Kia, right? Okay, if I didn't fail me. So this is basically what they do. And their overall strategy is basically capturing Southeast Asian growth. So basically, when Southeast Asia, they have more middle class, more people want to buy into cars, then of course they will benefit. So their growth story is as long as Southeast Asia grow, they'll grow. Like for example, they are very big in Indonesia. They are very big in Vietnam. Okay, they are inside Malaysia. They are in Myanmar. So these few places. So this one is actually in Vietnam. Also, they are into quite a number of Southeast Asian countries, and they basically want to reap on the Southeast Asian growth opportunity. Yeah. So this is for Jardine. Hourglass, okay, Hourglass sell watches. So I think the cheapest one, I don't know, is it $10,000-$20,000? Okay, but apparently, based on the chairman's statement, they are more cautious. If I were to read to you, the near term are not shaping up. The only potential bright spot, as they say, is the reopening of the Chinese economy. So this is what they are betting on, reopening of the Chinese economy. So, and the conclusion is this: short-term outlook has dimmed, but the future will remain dynamic. So basically, they are not expecting the short term to do well, but long term wise, they are still hopeful. And the only possible growth for them is the Chinese. That means more tourists coming in to actually buy watches from them. Okay, so this is for Hourglass. This is the potential growth story. So try to remember the growth story. Of course, later we'll do an exercise for you to poll which are the out of the 9, which are the 3 companies is your favorite. Okay. So we will do a polling exercise. So now we have 9 companies. So what I've done is actually show you basically all of them pass. Okay, down here, all of them actually pass the 6 tests. What is prominent at this page is, some of them have very good profit margins, as I highlighted. Okay, in fact, Jardine, Hourglass, okay, I would still say it's actually quite decent profit margin. Okay, then the next thing I do is sharing you the growth story I have actually noticed, the growth story. Okay, then of course, after that, we look at the valuation and we'll go to a poll exercise. Then you tell me what are your 3 favorite counters. Okay, Delphi is actually into chocolates. Okay, actually, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know this one is actually sort of like this company is actually listed in Singapore. So as you can see, this brand is by this company called Delphi, and they make chocolates. And again, the CEO or the chairman, they tend to be a little bit more cautious. 2024, I expect to remain uncertain and potentially challenging. Okay. And you don't really see very clear growth story for them. I don't really see a very clear growth story. I mean, just business as usual. Maybe just try to do their things better. So this is what I have noticed for Delphi. I may be wrong. So feel free to just jump in if you know the company better. So like I said, this is a sharing session. I am only basing it on the chairman's statement that I read. If you actually have any inputs of the companies, please feel free to share. Will EV need as frequent inspection? I believe so. I believe EV also need to do inspection. Okay, TalkMed. Okay, so basically this is a medical group. So as I understand, they are quite strong in oncology. That means cancer treatment. Cancer treatment, and they are basically depending a lot on medical tourism. Okay, they operate out of Mount E, if I am not wrong. They operate out of Mount E, and they basically is providing medical tourism services. Okay, so it did down here, you actually mentioned that medical tourism is coming back, or in fact is there's a strong demand for medical tourism. However, because of the cancer drug list, so they may be affected slightly. So this is one thing about Singapore. So the growth story is basically recovery from pandemic. The medical tourism is back in Singapore. Okay, of course, we know during COVID period, a lot of Indonesians, Vietnam, they can't really come in to seek treatment as easy as before. And now they are coming back. So that's one growth point for them. The other is that they are expanding into China and Hong Kong. Okay, they are expanding into China and Hong Kong. So apparently, as you can see, they down here they actually state that there is quite a decent market size. Okay, so this is TokMed, a medical group specialized, if I'm not wrong, on oncology, cancer treatment. And yep, Singapore ones, they are positive because of medical tourism. They are also into China and Hong Kong expanding. Quite a small group, but if you ask me, the progress is actually not too bad. They actually bother to expand into China and Hong Kong. It's actually quite, what do you call that? Quite aggressive. Since a lot of them are already coming into Singapore, but yet they take the trouble to go and expand outward also. Okay, Surrender, yep, later we'll look at the U very soon. We also haven't do, we have, I'll show you the pricing numbers. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Somehow OCBC and UOB, they are not in the list. They pass the PE, I think is the should be because of the what do you call that? The ROE. ROE. Okay, Vicom. Vicom is the one that was quite surprising to me. Now they don't just do testing of cars. Yes, they still do testing of cars, but they do more than that. So I'm only surprised to learn today. So they actually have, as you can see, extended our capability to support agri-food industry. They are able to test pesticide. They also do testing of pesticide. They also conduct management system certification. They are also able to do certification for green building. Okay. And they are going in to do security evaluation for cyber security. So that means Vicom is no longer just what do you call that? A car inspection company. I always thought Vicom, they just inspect car. So at first when I saw 25%, I'm like, wow, inspect car, the margin so high. So no, so now they have actually become more like a testing company or certification company. So quite interesting. So that is Vicom for you. Okay. Okay, ISEC is basically a group of, how do I pronounce this? Ophthalmologists, eye doctors, eye doctors, pardon me. Okay, eye doctors, they actually, I think, started from Malaysia. So that's why they have most number of eye centers in Malaysia. They have one in Singapore, one in Myanmar. And for their growth plans, they are thinking of going to more places. Okay, but then again, this one is still thinking. They have already started Myanmar operations, and apparently they say it's a huge market. There is a lot of opportunities there. And they are thinking of going into Cambodia and Vietnam. So eye doctors providing eye specialist services. Okay, Jumbo. Okay, I'm quite sure all y'all know what Jumbo do. Okay, provide food. So of course, they are one of the main growth engine is the after COVID, post-COVID. Okay, post-COVID. And basically the group is optimistic, as you can see here, of the performance, which to me is quite interesting. Okay, why I personally like Jumbo, it's actually quite crazy. They price me out already. If I'm not wrong, now go and eat one crab, Sri Lankan crab is $140, $150. Anyone can help to vouch. How much is one crab in Jumbo now? Is it 140 already, right? 140, 150, right? Anybody can help to share? If you go Jumbo to eat a crab, how much does it cost? And anyway, it's quite crazy. Then it's like, wow, you still have a lot of people must go and eat one. Okay, so like that time my wife want to hold some of guests. I think it was a Thursday Thursday evening, and they try to do booking, only can get it like 8 p.m. slot. Wow, 128. Okay, and if I every time when I cycle past, it's always crowded. So this is something quite close to me. I see for itself. It's like, wow, the food are expensive, and yet they're still getting a lot of people. Okay. They actually have they're actually very good at capturing tourists. Somehow when tourists come to Singapore, must eat chili crab. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. So must eat chili crab. I don't know why tourists come must eat chili crab and cannot anyhow eat one. I was just suggesting my wife go to La Paz, eat the crab. I say cannot the one, must eat jumbo one. So like, oh, okay. So that's why yep, I am also quite positive about this company. Yeah. Okay, the last one is Oitech. I think this is quite newly listed, quite interesting. Okay, so this company also caught my attention. So basically, they are into what we call, I think, renewable energy, and I think they call it vegetable oil. Let me see. Let me look for the term. Okay, basically I think it's plant oil, oil derived from plant, which I suppose is more sustainable. Okay, so a few of the growth engine that they highlighted here is this. Okay, number one, global environmental sustainability benefit the group renewable energy segment. Then they quote an example like the aviation. They want to shift towards the sustainable aviation fuel. Okay, so I suppose they are the one of the manufacturers. So they are not into growing, yeah. So this one is not like oil palm plantation, no, but they are more into refinery. So if you were actually go and see the company, they have all the machine to refine the product. So unlike like for example, some of the oil palm companies, so they really go and grow the oil palm. No, okay, so they are actually into refinery business. Okay, so if you ask me, this one also quite interesting growth story. So lastly, after the 5 tests and understand business, of course, the last part is to look at the valuation. Okay. So these are the numbers. So I try to summarize everything here. So number one, basically they passed the 6 tests, or passed the 6 tests. Then we have TopMed, Vicom, Isaac, got very good profit margin. Then these are the valuation. So of course, in terms of PE, Vicom, TopMed, Isaac is a bit high. You have Jardine, Hourglass actually quite low, which is quite good. Then okay, dividend yield wise, so of all of them above 4%. And most of them are above the 5-year average, as you can see. Okay. So for Jumbo, okay, Jumbo, this is 0. I think this one is because of COVID. Also, I am still okay with it. Oitech is also the same thing because Oitech, if I'm not wrong, is newly listed. So they may not have enough history to look at it. Okay, let me just confirm Oitech. I think it's newly listed, but let me just confirm. Frankly, I also haven't heard about this company only today. Okay, so you can see is only listed in 2021. Let's look at the DPU. Yeah, so may not be fair lah. So my point here is this, please ignore these 2 0. Okay, may not be fair for the company. So Jumbo is actually because COVID period, so obviously now cannot give dividend. So I think there's a valid excuse why the 5-year average number is 0. So for Oitech, because they are relatively new, relatively newly listed, so they don't really have a history. Also, it doesn't mean that these two companies over the past 5 years did not give dividends. No. Lê Hun asked palm oil. I think palm oil is one of their product. Palm oil is one of their product. Okay. So, yep. This is how I actually scope up. Again, let me repeat the story. Yeah. How do I actually do a stock screener exercise? So hopefully after that you can do yourself. So number one, these are the criteria. So from this criteria, I've actually reduced up to 26 counters. Okay, so my criteria are P less than 20, U more than 4%, profit margin more than 5, ROE more than 15. So I reduced to 26 counters. So all these 26 counters, I one by one go and see which one are enjoying revenue and profit growth rate over the past 3 years. So I actually narrow down to 9 of them. I do the 6 tests, so all pass. Okay, Jumbo did not, but it's acceptable. I think there's a valid reason. And from here, what stand out to me is there are some companies with high profit margin. Okay, then I go and look at the growth story. Okay, I look at the growth story and I sort of summarize it here. So DBS is IT, Jardine is Southeast Asia, Hourglass is China, Delphi is just organic growth. Don't have any new initiative. TokMed, recovery and China. Vicom, new testing area. Isaac, Myanmar. Okay, Jumbo is the COVID recovery story. And Oitech is sustainability. Everyone talk about sustainability. Okay. And these are the numbers. I think some have lower PE. Dividend yield all above 4%. All above 4%. Okay, thank you so much, Surrender. Okay, so now what I need you to do is out of this list, can you choose 3 of your top favorite? Okay, choose three of your top favorite. And of course, after that, I'll share which are my 3 . So this is basically how what do you call that? A stock selection exercise is done. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to launch a poll. Okay, so hope this one actually give you some stock ideas. So please do your own due diligence if you actually want to go and make some investment. So I just want to share with you what my top three choices. Okay, my first choice is actually TokMed. So you can see that dividend yield is actually one of the highest, 5.7%. I think it's quite decent. And the most important is I like the story. I like the story. I think they have a very clear story, recovery story. I'm quite sure you know medical tourism is something very lucrative. And the other reason is you can see the profit margin is one of the highest. So just now I show you all the profit margin is 35%. Okay, very interesting to me. Okay, it's actually quite high. Okay. Too bad my daughter don't want to be a doctor. Then after that, the dividend yield, and you look at the average dividend yield, 4.9% over the past 5 years, very decent. And they are actually going to China, which I think if things go well, it's actually going to be very good for them. So that is my first choice, TokMed. My second choice is actually Jardine CNC. Okay, the main reason is because the low PE . And same thing, I also believe in the Southeast Asian growth story . I think if you talk about globally, the next growth area will have to be in Southeast Asia. So I think that is Southeast Asia, talk about places like Vietnam, Indonesia. I do expect them to have very interesting growth going ahead. Okay, so if you ask me, this is something that caught my attention, P so low. And the third one is actually Jumbo . So Jumbo is actually more for personal reason . So like among the list here, so Jumbo is the one that I can see, can touch, have a personal touch. In that sense, I always, when I actually cycle past, it's always so crowded. Things are so expensive and yet people still go and eat. So I think they got the business model correct . I don't know why it seems like now they are like the representative of chili crab. There's so many places with chili crab. But I don't know why, when people want to eat chili crab, especially bring tourists, they will go Jumbo. And the tourists are coming back. So, yep, it's more for person. I chose this because the, the growth is something I've seen in my own eyes. Okay, so anyway, this is just for reference. Nobody is more right or more wrong. What I've done is just demonstrate to you the stock selection process or the stock screener process. Okay, so hopefully, I just want to share that, it's definitely not rocket science. It's something quite easy to do. Okay, if you all run out of stock ideas and things like that, this is one exercise you can do to help you to pick up, healthy stocks with interesting growth story, nice valuation, nice dividend. So it's always available from the Singapore market.